Hi, this is Regeline Sabat, also known as Gigi. You're listening to Walk With Me podcast. My guest today is Teddy Noev. Teddy is the CEO and president of Your Best Life LLC. Welcome to the show, Teddy.
Hi, Gigi. Thank you for having me today.
You're welcome. It's an honor to have you here. Now, why don't you start off by telling us more about you and where you are from?
Okay, you heard the accent, right? So I grew up in communist Bulgaria. And actually, I did not come to the United States until almost 30 years ago at the age of 23. And I'm telling you, Gigi, I thought I spoke English until I opened my mouth to speak. And needless to say, no one could understand what I was saying. Anyhow, so one of my goals that I set for myself was to learn how to speak English fluently. And not only did I learn how to speak English fluently, but I became a teacher, a coach, an administrator. And just a year and a half ago, I left a very satisfying career from education to pursue teaching at a different level, in a different dimension, what I'm truly passionate about. And that is using my story to empower and inspire others.
Absolutely amazing. Now, tell us more about your struggles with weight management and poor self image due to ongoing trauma.
Yes, indeed. Growing up in Bulgaria was not easy for me. In fact, I went through a lot of trauma, a lot of abuse, sexual, physical, mental, emotional, cultural, you name it. And actually, statistics show that many kids like me who go through such abuse and trauma, they feel like they have no control over their life or anything that is happening to them. And of course, I was one of these kids. And the only thing we that go through so much trauma and abuse we perceive as having control over is food intake. And that's how we develop extremes, a very unhealthy relationship with food. I started with literally controlling every morsel of food or calorie I would put in my mouth, and I would intake, like literally starving myself. And I was not even overweight. Two periods of severe binging and overeating that followed those periods of starvation. And my weight started being a roller coaster, and so were my emotions. They were really riding this never ending roller coaster. I was extremely unhappy, very insecure, with very, very low self esteem. So I can tell you, I was riding that roller coaster for a very long time. And in fact, one of the bottom moments of my life, I describe it in chapter 1 of my book, Your Best Life Reclaimed. And actually, my book launched this past January of this year, and it made it Amazon bestseller. But where I was heading with that, in chapter 1 of my book, I describe one of the very, very bottom moments in my life. And I recall still the memory of reaching in a pantry for the next food to stuff myself with, thinking I was eating cookies. I was new to the United States. That was 1992. And I remember being taken aback by this awful, dreadful taste in my mouth. So I went back to the pantry to realize that I had just eaten dog treats. And I remember just descending on the cold kitchen floor and crying. I remember the humiliation, the despair, the guilt, the shame, you name it. So I was there. I lived that story, but the good news is that I also left that story, and I'm here to help and inspire others who might be in any way relating to what I was going through.
Absolutely amazing. Now, you have this phrase that you use quite often called trauma weight. Talk to us a little bit more about what does trauma weight truly mean?
Well, oftentimes when we go through circumstances, people that abuse us, take advantage of us, cross our boundaries, our body, physically, emotionally, intellectually, we're being traumatized. And in fact, sexual abuse does not have to have the physical effect of sexual abuse. Just because somebody is trying to cross your boundaries in any way, you are being abused. But trauma is this memory. We're stuck with that memory and that relation to certain people and circumstances. And when we are suffering, when we're in that trauma mode, we're feeling the victim. So the victimhood is a very real presence to many of us. I tell my clients this: you get to tell your sad story once. Why once? Because if you keep playing it over and over in your head, you become the main character of it, the victim. And that's how you continue living a victim mentality for something that you might have experienced 10, 20, 30 years ago. So there are many ways to leave the victim mentality, and I'll be glad to share it with your viewers and you in a while if you're interested.
Absolutely. Please elaborate for us.
Absolutely. It starts with forgiveness. And forgiveness, not for the sake of our abusers deserving it. In fact, probably they don't deserve it. But forgiveness for our own sake. Because as long as we hang on to that experience and to that trauma, we're like keeping those chains that keep us to those people and those experiences. So forgive them. And I can tell you, probably our abusers, here's my helper chart. Probably our abusers have their own stories to tell, but that's a different conversation and a different topic. But forgive, let yourself free. Forgive those who mistreated you, but also forgive yourself. Don't forget to forgive yourself, because oftentimes we hang on to that guilt and shame that we carry with us through our lives because we feel somehow it was our fault that we could not quite protect ourselves, and we couldn't. And that's unfortunate, but it's a fact that we also need to allow forgiveness for ourselves for the healing to start.
Very powerful. Forgiveness truly matters. Now, walk us through the moment where you experienced an aha moment and shifted your mindset from a negative mindset to a positive mindset to overcome your trauma.
And do you know what? I wish I could pinpoint one moment. Probably there were a series of those moments, but truthfully, becoming a mother was one of those moments for me. And I was a single mother raising two kids, two boys. And in no way am I suggesting that being a single mother raising two kids by yourself is an easy job. But somehow I found that need to be strong for my boys, to be the rock in their life, that rock that I did not receive from my parents. So being a mother was one of the most liberating experience for me and one of my big aha moments, because no matter how weak I felt, I had to be strong for my babies and for my boys. And talking, opening up and trusting people. I think we all have these people, these friends in our lives that we feel very safe with, and sharing, reaching out for help. I really advise our viewers that are watching today, if they in any way relate to trauma and abuse and those victim stories, please have trusting people in your life that you feel safe going to and talking. And reading helped me a lot, and becoming a personal trainer, nutritionist. Gigi, you saw the pictures. I really came from one side being overweight, absolutely insecure, to I competed at the age of 45 in a bodybuilding competition, and I experienced the other extreme. I'm not suggesting that anyone who suffers from eating disorders and low self-esteem has to compete, but that was one of the ways I really overcame my insecurities. And with being a personal trainer and training others and helping them reach their weight goals, by helping them, I was really helping myself as well. So that was a big aha moment and a liberating experience, being a guide and help to others.
Very powerful. Now, what is your best advice to the audience for walking with purpose and living a life of happiness?
Well, there's quite a few steps everyone needs to take, but by all means, just be yourself. We're brought, we're taught, we're programmed to walk, think, act like anyone else but ourselves. And really, oftentimes when we're given this well-intended advice, well, just be yourself. How many of us do truly really know how to be ourselves? We're so programmed and conditioned by parents, culture, society to be everything else but ourselves. In the way I recently, actually, Gigi, within the last 11 months, I started this journey on learning human design. Human design is this system that shows one how to live life lined up correctly with their own self-being and their design. So living by your human design. And for those of the viewers that are interested in getting started on their journey to finding what their truly human design is and how to decondition themselves to truly being themselves in this life, you can go to different websites, and I'm in no way affiliated with any of them. But if you're interested in getting your free human design chart, you can go to www.humandesignamerica.com to get your free human design chart. And if this interests you, start from there. I also offer classes and information on my website on human design and how one can live their best life today. My website is www.yourbestlife.solutions.
I love it. Just be yourself. Now, Teddy, where can the audience find you aside from your website?
Yes, as I said, you can find me on yourbestlife.solutions. I'm on Facebook, Teddy Noev on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and also I will share my business email with the viewers, which is Teddy Noev, my first and last name, at gmail.com.
Amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure to check out Teddy on all of her social media platforms and also on her website. And Teddy, thank you for being a guest on Walk With Me podcast. You have a blessed day.
Thank you so much for having me, Gigi. Bye-bye.